Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today. As usual, you guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, right? Stopping them from rewriting the history, guys. Holding these guys to a standard. And in this video, I wanted to talk briefly about Paul George, man, and who the hell cares about Paul George and where he's going. So he signed a deal with the 76ers, right? I tell you, man, the 76ers, they just signed all these retards, man. To me, Paul George is a lame, soft dude, man. What is he going to give you? 50 games this season, maybe, if that. And in the postseason, he's going to shrink up. So I don't care. Who cares about Paul George? I see a lot of people making a big deal about Paul George going to the Sixers, man. Like this does something for, the Sixers are now title contenders. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's a joke, man. We're going to talk about this video, man, because Paul George, to me, once again, man, is one of these guys who's been exposed over the years of this era of NBA, man. Just a soft guy. Got all this money for what? What has Paul George earned to get all that money? What has he done on the court to get all that money? Nothing. And I'm going to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, I am truly, truly humbled by all support, guys. You guys have been rolling with me, man. Thank you to all you guys, man. I tell you, I thank you guys every video because it matters, man. You guys liking my videos, comment. You guys come to the live stream to support us. You guys got my back, man. Much respect to all the true basketball fans that are standing up. Thank you. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, I wanted to touch briefly on this Paul George thing that I see a lot of people talking about, and it's all over the internet right now. Not just Paul George, but guys like Donovan Mitchell. Everyone's getting all this money now. Signing all this money, these guys. They're just throwing money at these guys. For what? Donovan Mitchell? Donovan Mitchell ain't been great since the bubble. Donovan Mitchell never plays in the playoffs. Where's he in the postseason? The guy missed, what, 2 games this postseason? These guys are soft and frail. They don't take care of their bodies, but then the ownership is throwing all the money at these clowns. And I saw Paul George got a bunch of money for signing with the Sixers, right? He left the Clippers. What did Paul George do in L.A.? Did Paul George do anything in L.A.? Paul George going to the Clippers. Him and Kawhi Leonard, they did literally nothing together, guys. And I'm not going to get on Kawhi Leonard in this video. We're going to stick to Paul George. But once again, they exposed themselves. What did Paul George do in L.A.? What did Paul George do in OKC? He did nothing. This guy's been bouncing around now. Now he's on the Sixers now. And let's see what he does in the Sixers. I guarantee he don't do a damn thing. I guarantee the Sixers don't make any noise. You have 2 of the softest guys in the NBA playing on the same team. Joel Embiid and Paul George. Joel Embiid is known as a postseason choker. He's known as that. Now, I've gone on Joel Embiid in this channel, and people were telling me, oh, Joel Embiid, he fought through the pain the last postseason. And they talked about his, what do you have, that cerebral palsy or whatever. He had that bout hit him in the face or whatever during the playoffs. And people want to give him some credit for pushing through. You want to give him credit for pushing through. How much money is Joel Embiid getting paid? Once again, you guys sound ridiculous. Why are you giving these guys a pass? How much money you get paid to show up at your job? How much money you get paid to show up at your job? Can you just be out of work whenever you want because you're not feeling too good? Because you're maybe injured? I don't want to hear this nonsense for these guys, man. These guys are getting all this money, and all I hear is excuses for Joel Embiid, who every postseason, except for this postseason, missed a postseason game. They're supposed to be the leader of your team? A guy who plays 40, 50 games a season? Maybe he'll play 60 games this year. Maybe. Wake me up when Joel Embiid can play 75 games. Not even 80. Let me know when he can play 75 games in a season, Joel Embiid. And now you bring in Paul George? Pandemic P? This dude is one of the biggest postseason chokers in the history of this era. In the history of his era. He's a postseason choker, man. What has Paul George done in the postseason, man? What has he done? And I'm not saying that he played on great teams and he should have won a championship by now or any of these things. The man never been to an NBA Finals. And once again, Paul George, what has he done since he's left Indiana? He's done nothing, man. And he's played with talent, man. See, here's the thing with a lot of these guys. They'll try to make it seem like these are guys playing on teams and they never played with anybody. They were playing on garbage teams their whole career. Paul George never won because he never played with anybody. It's a bunch of BS. Paul George on some really quality teams, man. He played with some decent players, man. Right? He had some quality coaches. Like I said, he played with some quality players, man. But Paul George, once again, when the postseason comes around, Paul George don't raise his level of play. That's why it was called Pandemic P. All right, where's playoff P? There ain't no playoff P. It's Pandemic P. This is Paul George, and this guy just got whatever amount of money he got, man. The exact amount of money he's on a point. All we know is this guy, Paul George, got way more money than he's worth. He ain't worth that kind of money. These guys, once again, man, how does Paul George, in this point of his career, still make this kind of money? Based off of what? Off of what? Paul George has accomplished nothing in his NBA career. This guy's overhyped. I told you, I did that video with that one guy, though, I think he's like a second-year guy or a first-year guy. He called Paul George his GOAT. Yeah, Paul George is my GOAT. You sound stupid, man. Paul George is nowhere near a GOAT. Nowhere near it. Yes, he might be your favorite player, but he's nowhere near a GOAT. I'm so tired of hearing people say this is my GOAT. No. He's not qualified to be a GOAT. You sound ridiculous, man. Once again, these guys don't respect the history of the NBA, man, and they're just a bunch of goofs. He's my GOAT. Paul George is your GOAT. The guy's nickname is Pandemic P, but that's your GOAT? Why? Because his game, his play style is smooth? Because of the way he moves on the court? Yeah, Paul George got a nice little game, but once again, does not translate to anything when it counts the most. His defense is completely overrated. Right there, Paul George, one of the great two-way players. Where is it showing up? When is this guy locking dudes down the postseason making noise? He's not. He's getting embarrassed and waved at by Damian Lillard. You let Damian Lillard embarrass you? Who the hell is Damian Lillard? Another postseason choker. Dame time. What has Dame time done? Think about that. Dame time is one of the clutch players of his era. Think about that. Damian Lillard. This guy would be nowhere near a clutch player in the 80s and the 90s. He's not up there with the Reggie Millers, the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds. Get the hell out of here. Magic Johnson, he's a clutch time performer like any of these guys, but in this era, it's Dame time. He's one of the clutch guys of his era. It's an absolute joke, man. Pandemic P. Signed for all this money. And like I told you, who cares? Who cares? The Sixers did not get better with Paul George. Because once again, this is not Paul George, a guy that's going to give you 70, 80 games, 75 games. He's going to give you that effort on both ends. They'll say he's a two-way player, but Paul George ain't playing them games. The dude's literally playing 50, 60 games, man. His entire career. I don't care what he did last season when they came with the league minimum of 65 games on these guys. Where was Paul George in the postseason, man? Nowhere to be found in the postseason. This is Paul George. Either he's only going to play half the season or the postseason is going to show up and he's going to be dealing with an injury or he's not going to be 100%. They'll be making excuses for Paul George. He'll be clanging off the side of the backboard. He'll be turning the ball over. All of this stuff, getting in foul trouble. Once again, no leadership from Paul George, so you're not paying him money for his leadership. These guys are not leaders. 99% of the guys in the NBA right now over the last 10 seasons, this era, there's no leadership in these guys because they're not grown men. They're kids. They're children. There's a leadership. There's no leadership. Everyone wants the money. Everyone wants to point a finger. No one wants any responsibility. And this is all due to what? LeBron James and his legacy, right? Don't take any accountability. Point the finger at everybody else. But at the same time, make max money even though you're not giving the max effort. Paul George getting all this money for what? I ask for what? And the nerve of this guy to even take that money. You have no honor. No honor taking all that money, man. You should be, listen, man, you guys are paying me too much. I haven't earned it. Earn your money, man. These guys don't earn the money. What is Paul George getting paid off? His reputation? What reputation? The reputation for what? Y'all name me an iconic memory, a historic play from Paul George. What postseason run does he have? None. Literally none. He's done nothing. What did he do in LA? Did nothing. All they did was blow leads and lose games in the postseason, man. Paul George in and out of the lineup. No leadership. This is Paul George, though. Got all this money to go to Philadelphia. Philadelphia didn't get any better. Once again, you added another soft, frail dude to your lineup to go with another soft, frail dude, Joel Embiid. So now 2 of your 5 starters are going to be some of the most frail, softest guys in the league. So when Joel Embiid's out for 20, 30 games and Paul George is out for 20, 30 games, I don't want to hear the excuses, man. Yo, the Sixers are struggling because Paul George and Joel Embiid. I don't want to hear no excuses, man. This guy got all this money. Once again, they're paying these guys all this money, but these guys don't show up on the court. And what did Gilbert Arenas tell you? Oh, the management doesn't want them to play. So the management wants to pay these guys max money and only want them to play 70% of the games? That doesn't even make sense. That's not business. If you want to say the NBA is that's not smart business. You should want your best players playing as much as possible. It should be about winning. Winning brings you business. The business of winning. Paul George ain't a winner to me. Joel Embiid's not a winner. They're a bunch of crying, flopping fools, man. And they gave this guy all this money. But who cares? Paul George to me is nobody, man. He's one of the most overrated people of his era. One of the most overrated. They talk about Paul George like he's Kobe Bryant sometimes. They talk about Paul George like he's T-Mac. I don't buy that. I'm not buying it. Yeah, Paul George has some silky moves, and his game, maybe so. Once again, so is Kevin Durant's game. He's pretty smooth and silky out there, but he's soft and frail, right? And he don't play no defense, Kevin Durant. He ain't got no heart, no leadership. And I challenge Paul George. He ain't got no real heart. Where's his grit? The dude's always hurt. And once again, where's the leadership? How many years Paul George been in the NBA? Where's your leadership at? See, the thing about leadership, guys, it's a skill that you can develop. You can become a greater leader. Remember, people go to school to learn how to become great leaders. They go to classes and listen to people about being great leaders. Paul George, a lot of these other guys, they don't develop this stuff. You know why? Because they don't care to develop it. All they want is the money. Once they get their money, they don't care. They'll go out there, they'll play their 50, 60 games, man, right? They'll do whatever they do. They'll have some highlights, and their fans will be all about it. They won't hold these guys to any standard. No one holds Paul George to any standards. No standards. But then they'll say he's a Hall of Famer. And they'll put him in the Hall of Fame. And all this stuff. This fool will say he's my GOAT. But they hold his more accountable for nothing. It's a joke, guys. It's an absolute joke, man. You guys know the deal. I just wanted to touch briefly on Paul George, man. I'm not a fan of Paul George, man. And listen, I liked his game early in his career. But over the years, these guys turned me off. Once again, you try to get behind some of these guys. But you can't get behind them because they show their true colors. Eventually, it all comes out, man. And once again, Paul George to me is a soft, frail dude. He's always hurt, man. I hate people that are always hurt. They're always hurt, man. Because it bothers me that they'll keep telling me that these guys are greater athletes than the guys I grew up watching. Meanwhile, the guys I grew up watching were there. Right? They were there. Paul George ain't there. The Sixers ain't going to be there for y'all. You have two guys, Joel Embiid and Paul George, who are suspect. That are not going to be there in the postseason. And even if they are there, they're known as chokers in the postseason. Paul George is known as a playoff choker. A guy who does not come through and do what he does in the regular season. His name is Pandemic P. That's his nickname. He earned that. He earned it. So I can't believe he gave this guy all his money. How did Paul George earn that money? He needs to give back that money. He needs to give back some of that money to the LA Clippers fans, man. Where the LA Clipper fans at? These guys just bounce around, man. I tell you, these guys have no integrity. They're just bouncing around, getting all this money, signing for max money, not giving the max effort, not playing the games, just robbing these franchises, man. It's an absolute joke, man. But they want to compare these guys to the 80s and the 90s. It's insane to me, guys. It's not valid. Paul George, to me, you're a goof, man. I don't respect Paul George. And the Sixers, man, once again, what are you doing here? What are you doing? I see people saying, oh, they just got greater. They upgraded from Tobias Harris. Paul George is Tobias Harris in the postseason. It's the same guy, guys. It's the same player. It's the same guy. Don't talk to me about numbers. I'm talking about the impact on the court. Tobias Harris, Paul George, you squint, it's the same guy in the postseason, guys. Same guy. You didn't get any better. Once again, Joel Embiid, where's Joel Embiid at in the postseason? Both these guys are going to be crying and moaning and flopping around out there, man. I'm not impressed, man. This guy got all this money. It's an absolute joke, man. This guy needs to give back the money. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.